Ellen DeGeneres just called a 19-year-old cancer patient her boyfriend, and now he's dead. This is why women's emotional labor is literally killing us. People magazine reports Tate Anderson died from cancer complications after years of appearing on Ellen's show, where she jokingly called him her boyfriend while he called her his girlfriend. This heartbreaking story perfectly exposes how women are expected to provide endless emotional support and nurturing to everyone around them, even children who aren't their responsibility, while men get praised for basic human decency. Ellen's genuine grief shows how women form deep, authentic connections that transcend age and circumstance, unlike men who only care about relationships that benefit them sexually or financially. The fact that she's mourning a teenage boy she mentored reveals how women carry the emotional weight of entire communities, while men abandon people the moment they become inconvenient or stop serving their needs. This tragedy represents millions of women who exhaust themselves caring for others while receiving zero emotional support in return from the men in their lives who view vulnerability as weakness.
A 90 Day Fiancé star just admitted he spent $75,000 on a woman who won't sleep with him. And this is peak male delusion. People magazine reports Gino Palazzolo calculated every penny he spent on Jasmine Panetta during their relationship, calling it a effing waste when she complained about no intimacy for 9 months. This financial breakdown perfectly exposes how men view relationships as transactional arrangements where money should automatically buy them sex and submission from women. Gino's spreadsheet mentality reveals the disgusting truth that men don't see women as human beings deserving love and respect, but as expensive prostitutes who should perform on demand in exchange for gifts and financial support. The fact that he's angry about spending money without getting sex proves that men fundamentally misunderstand consent and believe that financial investment entitles them to women's bodies regardless of attraction or emotional connection. This reality TV confession represents millions of men who use money as a weapon to control women, then play victim when their transactional approach to love inevitably fails because women want genuine connection, not financial manipulation.
A masculinist influencer just said we should weigh women, and the misogynistic video is causing absolute chaos online. MSN reports that Alex Hitchens' clip has provoked massive anger among internet users who are calling out his dehumanizing attitude toward female bodies. This weight obsession perfectly exposes how men reduce women to numbers on a scale while completely ignoring their intelligence, personality, achievements, and humanity in favor of controlling their physical appearance. His suggestion reveals the disgusting truth that men view women as livestock to be measured and evaluated rather than complex human beings deserving respect regardless of their body size or shape. The fact that he posted this publicly proves that men feel entitled to judge and categorize women's bodies as if they're products in a marketplace rather than autonomous individuals with their own lives and goals. This viral misogyny represents millions of men who believe they have the right to police women's bodies while offering nothing of value themselves except criticism and unrealistic beauty standards. His weighing comment shows how men use body shaming as a control mechanism to keep women insecure and focused on male approval rather than their own happiness and success.
A mom's conversation with her son about loading the dishwasher just exposed weaponized incompetence, and it's going massively viral. Upworthy reports that what started as a simple chore discussion turned into a viral lesson about how men deliberately fail at domestic tasks to avoid responsibility. This dishwasher drama perfectly reveals the calculated strategy that men use to escape household labor by pretending they're too stupid or incompetent to perform basic adult tasks that they somehow manage perfectly at work. Her son's resistance shows how boys learn early that acting helpless around domestic duties will get them out of contributing to family life while women pick up all the slack. The fact that this resonated with millions proves that women are exhausted by men who can operate complex machinery and manage entire businesses, but suddenly become incompetent when asked to load a dishwasher or do laundry. This viral moment represents countless households where women work full-time jobs, then come home to do all the domestic labor because men have weaponized their fake incompetence to avoid equal partnership. Her teaching moment shows how mothers must actively combat the toxic masculinity that tells boys that housework is beneath them, while girls are expected to be natural caregivers and cleaners.
A therapist's 14-year-old son just shocked her by saying most women falsely accuse men of assault. And this is how toxic masculinity is poisoning our children. Upworthy reports the mother was devastated when her teenage son repeated dangerous myths about sexual assault that he learned from online misogynist communities. This false accusation belief perfectly exposes how young boys are being radicalized by men's rights activists who teach them that women are liars and manipulators who destroy innocent men's lives with fake rape claims. Her son's statement reveals the terrifying reality that boys are learning to distrust and hate women before they even understand healthy relationships or consent, setting them up to become future predators and abusers. The fact that a therapist's own child absorbed this poison proves that no family is immune to the toxic masculinity pipeline that turns boys against women through online propaganda and peer pressure. This parenting crisis represents millions of mothers who are fighting to raise decent sons while competing against an entire culture that teaches boys that women are the enemy who will ruin their lives with false accusations. Her shock shows how even educated, aware parents struggle to protect their children from the misogynistic messaging that tells boys to fear and resent women rather than respect them as equals.
Women are calling out men who claim they're too busy for relationships, but somehow have time for social media? And the hypocrisy is absolutely infuriating. Instagram viral content shows relationship experts exposing how men prioritize online validation over their actual partners, proving they're never too busy for what they actually value. This social media priority perfectly reveals how men lie about being overwhelmed with work or responsibilities when they simply don't care enough about their relationships to invest time and energy into them. The viral call-out shows how women are tired of men who can spend hours scrolling, posting, and commenting online, but claim they don't have 5 minutes to text back or plan a date with their girlfriend. The fact that this resonated with millions proves that women recognize the pattern of men who make time for everything except the women who love them, then act confused when relationships fail. This relationship red flag represents countless women who watch their partners engage with social media all day while feeling neglected and unimportant in their own relationships. The viral moment shows how women are finally refusing to accept men's fake excuses about being too busy when their phone usage clearly reveals their actual priorities and values.
Men are claiming masculinity isn't toxic, weak men are, while completely missing the point about why women hate them. Twitter user PontusGirl's viral tweet argues that strong men are protective and loving, while weak men are abusive. But this defensive response perfectly exposes male fragility and refusal to examine harmful behaviors. This masculinity defense reveals how men deflect criticism by creating false categories of good and bad masculinity, instead of acknowledging how traditional gender roles harm everyone, especially women who bear the brunt of male violence and control. The protective narrative shows how men romanticize their role as guardians and defenders, while ignoring that women need protection primarily from other men, not external threats or natural disasters. The fact that this went viral proves that men are desperate to avoid accountability for toxic behaviors by claiming that real men don't act that way, effectively absolving themselves of responsibility for examining their own actions. This defensive masculinity represents millions of men who refuse to understand that the entire system of gender hierarchy is the problem, not just individual bad actors who give masculinity a bad name. Their protection obsession shows how men want credit for solving problems they created while maintaining the power structures that make women vulnerable in the first place.
Women are being told their criticism of toxic masculinity is invalid until they need men to kill bugs or change tires, and this argument is absolutely ridiculous. Threads user M. Resnel-Kajin's viral post claims women are hypocrites for wanting masculine help with traditionally male tasks while criticizing toxic behaviors, completely missing the difference between practical skills and harmful attitudes. This bug-killing gotcha perfectly exposes how men conflate basic competency with toxic masculinity, as if being able to change a tire somehow justifies emotional abuse, sexual harassment, or controlling behavior toward women. The viral argument reveals how men use women's occasional need for physical assistance to dismiss legitimate criticism of male violence, manipulation, and misogyny as if practical help cancels out psychological harm. The fact that this resonated with some people proves that many don't understand that women want men to be capable and helpful without being aggressive, controlling, or emotionally unavailable in the process. This masculine defense represents millions of men who think that performing traditionally male tasks gives them permission to treat women poorly in other areas of life and relationships. Their tire-changing logic shows how men weaponize women's practical needs to avoid examining how their attitudes and behaviors contribute to gender inequality and female suffering in relationships and society.
A Delhi metro harassment video just went viral, and it's exposing the daily hell that women endure from predatory male staring. Instagram reports show a woman confronting a man who stared at her for nearly 15 minutes, sparking massive conversation about public space harassment and male entitlement to female bodies. This metro confrontation perfectly reveals the exhausting reality that women face every single day when men treat public transportation like their personal strip club, visually consuming female passengers without consent or shame. Her brave call-out shows how women must constantly police male behavior because men refuse to hold each other accountable for treating women like free entertainment rather than human beings trying to get to work or school. The fact that this went viral proves that women are desperate for examples of fighting back against the relentless male surveillance that makes simple activities like riding public transport feel unsafe and dehumanizing. This Delhi moment represents millions of women worldwide who endure predatory staring, following, and harassment while men act innocent and claim they're just looking, as if women exist for their visual pleasure. Her confrontation shows how women are finally refusing to silently endure male harassment and are demanding that men examine their entitled attitudes toward female bodies in public spaces.